Hello, everybody. This is going to be a quick demo on what we're going to call just using the exact right tool for the job. In this case, we're going to do some things sequentially and then build them with our join fork loops afterwards. So really quickly, if I had to sort of just sum up the lengths of the texts in this array, right? One of the things I could do, and you've all probably used this loop before, is I can say like for I equals 0, I less than text lengths, and then let's see, I'm going to sum this whole thing up. So I could make some variable int sum of lengths 0. And I could say sum of lengths plus equals text sub I length. Length. Return sum of lengths. Now, there's nothing wrong with this. This is correct. Produces the correct output, which is good. It's fine. The only thing I'll say is that like there's a slightly better tool, or there's a tool that makes things a little bit cleaner, and that is the for each loop, which, you know, whenever I can use it, it's a good idea to use it. It's sort of best practice, and it makes it so that everything's just a little bit cleaner. Like we take this array of text, we like just get each text in turn, and now I can just say text.length, right? And when I run this program, you know, on our 3 names here, they both produce the correct result. And so both are correct. That's the most important thing. But this one's a little cleaner and a little easier to read, a little easier to write, a little easier to maintain. And so we like this one a little better. And it may seem like not too big of a deal in a small program like this, but as programs get larger and you start doing more interesting things in this loop, this can just be a significant improvement. And so let's talk about how the same thing can impact us on our join fork loops, excuse me. So in this, we've been given the exact same thing. Imagine we want to compute the lengths, just sum them up again, but we're going to compute them in parallel. So a very small change, not enough work certainly to warrant doing things in parallel, but you know, serves our purpose of being a useful example here. So in this case, let's say we're going to get back some list of integers, and that's going to be the lengths. I'm going to do that by doing a join fork loop on something. And what I could do is I could use the same sort of from I equals 0, I to texts.length. And that will pass me, again, the index I, which I can say, oh, okay, well, let's return texts sub I dot length. Just import everything. We now have this array lengths. Now I could again do this sum of lengths trick where I did it before, where I said, okay, well, let's go from here to lengths dot size, right? And now we can say, well, let's say we're going to add up lengths dot get I. But this is a correct program. It's suboptimal, as we're sort of saying here, because one, you know, there's just a better way to do it, a cleaner way to do it. We're again sort of like using this sort of for I loop instead of like the for each loop of the join fork loop. And we're doing it again now with a list of lengths. And we may have inadvertently turned this into an n squared thing, depending on if it's a linked list. We might end up just marching down the list every time to get each additional length. Like I said, it's correct, which is nice, but there we can do better. So let's do better. And so instead, on this side, let's imagine we've changed this just a little, and instead of passing in, you know, 0 to text length, like let's just say, just like we use the for each loop on you know, the array before, we can use the join fork loop on the array, and then it'll pass us the text for each one. We don't need the index, so we can just return the length. We get all the lengths back. And again, now we can just say, all right, so for length in lengths, all of our indexing, and then just add. Again, this also produces the correct answer. Both of them are perfectly fine and correct. This one's just a little more bulky, a little more wordy. Again, it might not show up too much. You might feel like, well, this is not such a big deal in this tiny little program. And the programs that even get a little more complicated, like the ones who write in this class, and certainly the ones who write afterwards, these small little things like just using the right tool for the job can make things significantly better. And further, as sometimes we will be enforcing that in this class. So just keep an eye out for something where you might be passing the parallel amount correctness tests, but you're just sort of not using the right tool for the job.